welcome to the vlog. I am Jason and I'm currently waiting on the street for my partner in crime, Joe, to come pick me up. This is our first ever YouTube video here at Hooked Poker, and basically what we're trying to do is get famous, get rich, and move to Vegas. You know, a lot of YouTubers say they're doing it for the fans, doing it for you. No, we're not doing that. No, we're doing it for us. But you guys will get something out of it because hopefully it's quality content. So we'll see. So I'll see you guys on the felt. Peace. Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to Hooked Poker. This is our first official vlog on the channel. Should be an exciting one. I'm in the car right now, about to go pick up Jason from his college, and we're about to go down to the Viking Social Club today. We're gonna be playing some 1-3. They just had a tournament there, so we're gonna be hopping in the cash games that are gonna start as soon as the tournament's over. So yeah, it should be a good time. Let's go get Jason and let's hit the felt, baby. Let's go. All right, guys, first interesting hand of note, we look down at ace-king offsuit in middle position. Early position under the gun +1 opens it up to $12. I decided to 3-bet and isolate him here. He only had a stack of about $120. I'm totally fine with getting it all in pre-flop, so I decided to make it 35, and he decides to make the call. Flop comes 6 of spades, 7 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds. Extremely wet and dynamic board here. I am holding the ace of diamonds, and I decided to c-bet this for $20. Questionable c-bet, but I also don't see him calling many 3-bets with suited connectors and things like that with his individual stack size. So I tried to fold out all the queen tens, the king jacks, the random, middling broadways. He decides to make the call though, and the turn is the 3 of spades, introducing a second flush draw. He checks it to me. I decided to check this one back. And the river's an interesting one. It's the king of diamonds, bringing in the front door diamond draw. I am also holding the ace of diamonds, and in this instance, I really didn't put him on a flush draw. I put him on more of maybe a small pocket pair or something weaker like that, and I decided to bet $50 here for value. He tanks for a minute, decides to make the call, and we are good with ace-king, and he had king-10 offsuit for a gutter ball on the flop and king-high. So in this next hand, we look down at king-jack offsuit, and we're in middle position, and it folds to us, so we decide to open it up to $12. And to that $12 bet, we get 2 callers, 1 on the button and 1 in the small blind. So we're going to go to the flop 3 ways with a pot size of $39. The flop comes down jack-8 deuce with the jack of clubs and the deuce of clubs, giving us top pair second kicker, but also introducing a club flush draw. So we decide to c-bet for $20 to get value out of middling pocket pairs, worse jacks, and flush draws. To $20, we get 1 caller, the player on the button, and the small blind folds. So we are heading into the turn, heads up with a pot size of $79. The turn is a blank and offsuit 5, and basically here we're going to bet $50 for value. Once again, same thing as a c-bet on the flop, getting value out of worse jacks and non-believing pocket pairs, and also flush draws. After thinking it over, the villain makes the call, and we're heading to the river with a pot size of $179. Now when the river comes down a blank and offsuit 4, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to bet huge because there's so many missed draws. We're pretty much only going to get called by better. So I decided to bet $40 to induce a bluff out of missed draws, and also to try to get value out of worse jacks, and middling pocket pairs are getting such a good price. And after thinking it over, the villain decides to lay it down to a slightly less than 4th size pot bet, and he later says to have a missed flush draw. You guys better buckle your seatbelts because this hand's about to get crazy. We look down at the beautiful pocket aces, ace of hearts, ace of diamonds. And we get 2 limpers to us, so we decide to open up to $20. I've been opening up with more of a linear range pre-flop in these small stakes games
because you get a lot of limp callers pre-flop, and I'm trying to get max value out of my premiums. And so the two limpers make the call for $20, and we head to the flop with a pot size of $64. The flop comes down 9-4-3 with two clubs, so there's a flush draw, but overall pretty safe flop for me. But this is where things get weird. The under the gun limp caller decides to donk for $50. And now he could be doing this with a lot of things. He could be doing this with sets, with flush draws, with ace nine, or just top pair, and he's betting for quote unquote protection that a lot of these 1-3 players will do. And so whenever the player to my right makes the call, I have nothing to do other than call. Now the turn comes an offsuit 3, which is actually a good card for me because it limits the possible 4 threes and pocket 3 hands that my opponents could have, which I was already behind on the flop. I continue to be behind to them, but it doesn't change that. And it just makes it less likely that they have those hands. But whenever the under the gun player bets $50 again and the player to my right calls 50, once again, there's no point in raising because I'm not going to get anyone off a draw, and a lot of the times I'm just behind, but I'm getting too good of a price to lay it down, so I make the call. When the river comes an offsuit deuce, and the under the gun player jams all in for about $50 more, I'm kind of in a sticky situation, hoping the player to my right folds so I can make a side call because I'm getting such great pot odds. But to my surprise, the player to my right raises to 150 into a dry pot. And this should basically be a snap fold to me. I tank for a little bit because it's always hard to lay down pocket aces. But at the end of the day, I decide to make the right play and fold. And the under the gun player shows pocket threes for quads for a massive cooler because the player to my right shows pocket nines for top full house. So glad that I kind of lost the minimum there. So in this next hand, I look down at King 8 offsuit, and this actually involves both Joe and myself. And normally, I would fold this hand pre-flop, it's pretty trash, but I hear that there's a blind open on the button to $12. So I'm sitting in the small blind, and it limps to the button, one limper, and so I decide to 3-bet to $30 to get it heads up, hopefully, with the button blind, because, king high hand is usually pretty good against a blind open.
Yeah, guys, so my original thought process, I did limp in this instance. I looked down at 2 8s in middle position, and my original intentions were to limp to him, and after he raises, I was planning on 3-betting his blind open with pocket 8s, but Jason actually ended up doing that in the big blind, and I decided 4-bet probably wasn't necessary in this configuration, so I decided to just call Jason's $30 3-bet, and we get an overcall from the original blind raiser on the button.
So now whenever Joey calls, I know that he doesn't have a nutted hand like pocket aces, kings, queens, or ace king, and he probably would 4-bet with jacks as well in this configuration. So I'm kind of limiting him down to like an ace 10 suited or a middling pocket pair that he was planning on limp raising, but whenever I 3-bet just isn't quite strong enough for a 4-bet. So when the flop comes 8 high, I have nothing to do but c-bet pretty much because there's 2 clubs on the board. So basically there's a lot of draws and I need to get value out of my draws and also for some protection as I have top pair, but top pair is an 8. So I'm not going to like a whole lot of cards that come out.
Yeah, guys, so obviously an 8 high flop here. I'm looking down at 2 8s and I have top set in this instance. So I decided it's a mandatory raise here to get value from all worse hands and to charge any flush draws. And it was also a very draw-heavy board that it could appear as if I have a draw myself. So I decided to put in the raise right away on the flop from $40 to $125, We're both sitting about $400 deep, so my intentions were to jam any non-club turn.
So whenever Joey puts this raise in, I know that he could be doing this with a lot of different hands, just like the nut flush draw, like for example, ace 10 suited, ace 9 suited, ace 8 suited, like I said, pre-flop he could have had, or a set he could be doing this with, mainly pocket 8s, because I don't think that he could have pocket 4s or 3s overcalling a 3-bet. So basically, I think he has pretty much one value hand and a whole lot of semi-bluffs, so I make the call, which honestly I could have just jammed all in right here since I put him on a semi-bluff and try to get max value out of him before he hits his draw, but I decided to make the call. And before I made the call, the blind opener folded. So the turn comes a bink king, which doesn't change a whole lot for me because there's no club and there's the flush and the straight draws brick, and it gives me top 2 pair, which now I guess I'm ahead of pocket 9s and pocket 10s, which were theoretically in his range. I don't think pocket jacks plus were in his range. So, but overall, it doesn't really change much for me except for those 2 hands that I'm now beating. So I check it over to him to let him continue bluffing, and this is what he does.
Yeah, guys, so I saw the king, a complete brick on the turn. I ripped it all in for my remaining $230. Jason pretty quickly snap called, and that threw up a couple red flags. Maybe pocket kings could be in his range here, but I was pretty happy with the outcome, and he rolls over king 8 for the top 2 pair, and I had the set of 8s. The river comes, his only out is the one of 2 remaining kings, and it doesn't come to give him a boat. It's just a complete brick, deuce of hearts, and I ended up stacking Jason in this hand. And yeah, guys, it was a pretty much a big cooler, and the hand worked out in my favor, and it just feels good to run good and hit sets, baby. No set, no bet. You know how it goes.
And as you can see at the end of this clip, I am in fact buying back in for $300 to get my redemption.
Nice hand, Jason. Okay, and our final hand of note here, we have Queen 9 of spades in the hijack. There's one limper in front of me. I decided to raise to isolate to $12, but the loose, crazy action player across the table from me snap calls the $12, and it folds around to the original limper, and he makes a call as well. So we got a pot of about $40. And the flop comes 4 diamonds, 5 of diamonds, 8 of spades. A pretty terrible flop for us. However, we have a lot of backdoor opportunities. I decided to check this one and try to take the free card. However, the crazy action player decides to bet $15. It is such a small bet here, and with the amount of backdoor draws that I see, I decided to make the call. Turn is the most beautiful card in the deck. It is the 7 of spades. So now I have an over, a gutter, and the backdoor flush draw. My opponent does some crazy betting and decides to bet $45 here. Going a bit larger here, about 2/3 pot. I decided to put in a large raise here, but I decided better against it because that brings in the one-liner to a 6 for a straight, and if he has a 6, he's probably just going to rip it all in. So I decided to realize some equity and see the river, and we get the absolute bink on the river, the jack of spades. We drill the backdoor flush draw, and I contemplate here for a second on what bet sizing he will call, and I decided to go with 100, and as you guys see, he beats me into the pot. So flush is obviously good, and we take it down.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Sorry. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the vlog. We just got done playing live at the Vike live stream 1-3 poker. Average stack size $85. Of course, kidding. It's not a live stream, but
The
we
average
did
stack
play.
was $85.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed those hands. Basically, I was in for 625. I had to reshoot out for 700, so I booked a small win, 75, basically even. Joe?
Yep, guys, as you guys saw, I ran pretty well, played well. Everything was going in my favor when I needed it to. Hit my big hands and got max value. So in for 300, out for 1,050. That's a profit of 750. It was a solid night. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a fun one. We'll be sure back in the next vlog. So let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically going to be a roller coaster. We're playing 1-3, we're playing 5-5, playing 5-10, we're playing 25-50. You know, we might even take a shot at, 1K, 2K games out in LA. You never know, but you got to be here to see it. So, till the next time.
Like and subscribe, baby. Let's go.